TGO traders, welcome to Tuesday's Market Situation Report. Wiz here. Risk off, risk on. Obviously, yesterday, folks, big risk off day in the market. And, the folks on Comedy Central, what did they blame that on? Problems in Spain, right? Shocked to find out that there might be corruption in the Spanish government, and the market had a triple-digit sell-off yesterday. Well, if you were in my 2-hour live trading session this morning with my primary traders, you knew that that was not even close to being the reason behind yesterday's sell-off, okay? And obviously, we're kind of right back to where we started yesterday morning before we had the gap down at the open. Starting to see some selling pressure later in the in these afternoon hours as we start working our way into the close here. We're starting to give up a lot of the gains that we saw today. But folks, the market needed a breather, pull off the parkway, so to speak, into a rest stop, and then continue on a little bit. I believe that we're going to see a lot more of this stuff going into March. Okay, this is going to be how February is characterized, in my opinion, by these risk on, risk off days. It's a slow news day in the market. Guess what? They're going to look around the world and go, oh, there's something going on in Spain, and the market's going to sell off on that and use that as an excuse. And that's really not what was going on yesterday. If you take a look at actually what was going on yesterday, we actually had an economic report out that really was pretty poor on Monday. Factory orders, folks. Factory orders were revised down from last month, and then in January, completely fell out of bed here. Consensus was 2.3%, 1.8% as far as factory orders. And obviously, folks, here, this report contains a revision of the durable goods orders data released about a week earlier. Remember, last week was full of great economic news, right? Here we go. The party's on. Well, guess what? It was revised, and this was an absolute train wreck. So durable goods orders factory orders, not good. Okay, so that helped as part of yesterday's sell-off. And I got to tell you, folks, when you see in Top Gun Options, if you try one of our Top Gun Option services, you know that we're already ready for all this stuff. One of our model portfolios was up nearly $5,000 yesterday on the pullback. Here's our weekly options model portfolio. We're up over $3,400 today. Our mission objective in the weekly options, our new weekly option service, is to bring in at least $1,000 a week in gains, and we've been averaging nearly $2,000 a week in gains since inception. Middle of December was when this portfolio came out. So we're seeing some obviously pretty solid gains in our weekly options model portfolio. Very, very solid. But these are the type of headlines, folks, that cracked me up. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, on the front page of the Wall Street Journal, there was an article about, hey, here come the retail investors, right? Cover of Market Watch this afternoon. Are mom and pop investors late to the party? I already called this, folks. Called this weeks ago and said, when the Wall Street Journal and Comedy Central, CNBC, start talking about, hey, here comes the retail trader, folks, people on Wall Street have already left. When you think the water's warm as a retail trader and you're going to do your half gainer with a twist off the high dive, the folks on Wall Street already pulled the water out of the drain. You're going to break your neck. I'm telling you, you're going to break your neck. And this market is going to take a breather. We got sequestration coming up. We had the continuing resolution issues coming up in March. And earnings, folks, to be brutally honest with you, were porridge. They weren't too hot and they weren't too cold. They just weren't awesome. They were kind of in line. And as a student of Top Gun Options, you'll learn that we have seasonality that's going to start rearing its ugly head here. Let's take a look at a chart of the SPX for the past 5 years. And you can see, seasonally, at the beginning of the year, we kind of have these rip-your-face-off rallies, right? And then what happens is reality starts to set in each year. We start to see, around March, a nice little pullback in the market because everybody kind of agrees that, you know what, the beginning of the year was just a little too frothy and it's time for us to take a break. Each one of these pullbacks around, the March-ish, June, April timeframe didn't include what we have this March, which is John Boehner essentially saying, Mr. President, I am going to take you on this time. I folded like a cheap suit around the fiscal cliff, folded like a cheap suit around the debt ceiling. This is my little bighorn right here, or Alamo. Both very fitting analogies for the Republicans, because unless they make a stand here, it's over with. So it's going to get ugly going into March, but not for us in our model portfolios. We're hedged. We have volatility hedges on. We have precious metal hedges on. We have and our hedges kicked in perfectly yesterday in our primary live trade brief model portfolio. Market sold off like it did, and our portfolio was up nearly almost 5% yesterday. So if your portfolio was completely red yesterday, you're doing it wrong, and you're not hedged, folks, which is obviously a bad thing. So interesting stuff going on around the world. Overseas in Europe with the scandals in Spain, interesting stuff going on in the Middle East with Israel, airstrikes into Syria, and Turkey jumping on board and condemning Syria, and interesting stuff going on in China, folks, with actually, they were going to open fire last week at some Japanese maritime defense force ships. A lot of interesting stuff going on, folks, that is not making the news right now, that if you're a trader Top Gun options, and you're prepared for. So when days like yesterday happen, you actually chuckle and say, glad I made a lot of money today because my hedges kicked in perfectly, okay? As a someone who flew the F-18 Hornet for 15 years, there was an ejection seat in this cockpit. Not once did I get airborne without a fully operable ejection seat. And if you're investing without one, you're doing it wrong, and you're going to get killed. I'm telling you right now. So, like I said, newest service, weekly options, is just absolutely crushing it. Having a great day today in the model portfolio. $3,500 in gains alone today, and it looks like we have potentially 7, 9. Looks like we have about another $1,700 we could make between now and Friday in the model portfolio. So great gains year to date, and we usually we don't risk more than $10,000 in any 1 week. This week I put 3 trades on an Apple Vertical, which is just printing money today to the tune of $2,000. A Goog Iron Condor that's doing well, and also an SPX Iron Condor as well. If you want to take a test flight of that newest service here, you can go to topgunoptions.com, hover over services, and obviously click weekly options, or you can go old school like me and type in topgunoptions.com/weekly-options and take a test flight, folks. Take a 2-week test flight into our weekly option service by clicking right here and get airborne and see how we do it in our weekly option service. We do a live trading session every Monday at 10 a.m. Even if you can't make it, don't worry about it. It's only 30 minutes. We put a couple trades in the model portfolio, and then boom, we're on SMS, text messages, and email the rest of the week, and I'll update you and let you know exactly what I'm doing in the model portfolio. Okay? A lot of activity and interest in the weekly options service. I'm going to tell you right now, folks, it is not for the faint of heart. I'm going to train you. This is a simulator building, folks, right? Airline pilots, fighter pilots, we don't go from the manual and get airborne. We go over to the simulator building and rip ourselves apart, okay? So you're going to see how potentially stressful trading weekly options can be. But they can also be potentially very, very profitable as well. They're afterburner trades, folks. And when they're working for you, great. Look out. If they're working against you, look out below as well. Okay, so give them a test flight, take some training on them, and we'll help you understand this crazy market, because there's a lot of crazy stuff going on here, folks, in this market that you need somebody to help you figure all this stuff out. And I'm telling you, it's only going to get worse, and we're going to see more of these triple-digit up and down days. And if you're not ready for it, and you don't know how to trade these type of up and down movements, that you're really going to get hurt. Okay, so got to run. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and I'll see you for tomorrow's sit rep.